Alright, since the NBA draft was last week, I thought it'd be cool if I gave y'all some of my favorite picks from last Thursday's NBA draft. And just to remind y'all, this has nothing to do with who I think were the best players selected. These are just my personal favorite picks. So don't misconstrued favorite for best, please. Alright, I'm going to start off with my favorite pick, which was Jarace Walker to the Indiana Pacers. On draft night, the Indiana Pacers found themselves in a great position where three dudes that all fit what they need fell to them at, I think, number 7 or 8, because they did trade down with the Washington Wizards. But three dudes that really fit with them all fell to them. That was Taylor Hendricks, Cam Whitmore, and Jarace Walker. And in my opinion, they took the best out of that three with Jarace Walker. Of course, that's not me shitting on the other two players. I just think Jarace Walker is exactly what they need and also just the best player out that bunch. The Indiana Pacers are a team with so much offensive firepower and is led by a young superstar point guard in Tyrese Halliburton. And since you have so many offensive weapons, it is really helpful to go get yourself a Swiss Army knife defensively. And that is what Jarace Walker is. Jarace Walker could play the 3, the 4, and the 5. He is an ultra athletic power forward wing that can defend the 3 through 5 and sometimes even the 2, and also provides you a lot of offensive versatility mixed with the definite defensive versatility. This is because he is entering a team where he's not going to be relied upon to score. No one's going to go and ask him to even get over 12 points per game. He's probably going to average somewhere in the realm of like 9 to 10 points a game, but still be very effective because he's going to get you rebounds. He's going to be a great playmaker in the short pick and roll. He's going to run the floor with Tyrese Halliburton while also being able to be, like I said before, your defensive Swiss Army knife that can guard a lot of different people. And putting him in a front court with him and Miles Turner provides you a lot of defensive stability. Because Miles Turner is going to block everything and be a great rim deterrent. Do you have another guy who can be an on-ball defender while also block shots given his crazy athleticism? And the one good thing about him is that he is not a good shooter right now, not by any stretch of the imagination. But given that he is playing with a great shooting big in Miles Turner, it means he's going to have a lot of room to operate in the paint where it's not going to feel clogged up for him. And also just his frame. He's a guy who is already around 240 pounds. And me and my dad said this while watching some of his highlights when he got drafted, is he has a type of body where he's going to be able to put on more weight and still be effective and athletic, given just how his body is filled out right now. There is still room for him to put on more muscle to be more of a freak of nature. I just love this for the Indiana Pacers, which is a team that I really like. I think a lot of people should be really paying attention to coming into next season, given how their season went last year before Tyrese got hurt, and this addition for this team, which fits them like a glove. My next favorite pick is Jordan Hawkins to the New Orleans Pelicans. When you're a team like the New Orleans Pelicans that have so much talent, when you're drafting for fit at this point. And when you have a team with a guy like Zion Williamson who gets downhill and when he does, sucks the whole defense in, you need shooters around him. Then also coupled with the fact that you have a team with Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum who demand the ball, it's important to add offensive weapons that can play off of them and don't need the ball to be special. Jordan Hawkins is one of those dudes. He moves so well off the ball and is such a great catch and shoot shooter that he does not need the ball to be effective. He knows his role. He knows what he needs to do, and he also is pretty sneakily athletic. Now, Jordan Hawkins is not a guy who's going to be playing a lot for the Pelicans day one, because the Pelicans, like I said, do have a ton of talent and have an embarrassment of riches, especially at that guard position, with the fact they drafted Dyson Daniels last year. But Jordan Hawkins can be a guy with spot minutes that is very, very effective for this team. And he's a winning player. He was just on the team that won the national championship, and he was a big reason why. Mainly because he knows his role. He knows what he's good at, he knows what he's not good at, and he's going to do what he is good at. And what he is good at is something that the New Orleans Pelicans need desperately around a player like Zion Williamson. All right. My next favorite pick is Gigi Jackson to the Memphis Grizzlies. Gigi Jackson was possibly one of the biggest question marks and unknowns about this in this entire draft process, mainly because he is the youngest player in this draft. He was the top player in the 2023 recruiting class that reclassified to 2022. I mean, this kid doesn't even turn 19 until I think December. And I am allowed to call him kid because I am older than him. I turned 19 in July. He turns 19 in December. I don't like that. And also my birthday is July 29th. Mark your calendars, please. The reason why I like Memphis getting him is Memphis does a great job at developing young talent, and Gigi Jackson is extremely talented. That's why many people had him as a lottery pick, and he fell to the second round mainly because at South Carolina, he developed a lot of bad habits. He is a guy with all the physical tools, but did not do much on defense. He took really bad shots, and part of the reason he did reclassify and commit to South Carolina is because they were going to let him do whatever he wanted to do. And he did. He was able to take any shot he wanted. He was able to be lackadaisical on defense. He was just able to go out there and just hoop however he wanted to. He is the type of player that needs to be developed. He needs to get those bad habits out of his system. And with a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, which over the past few years have done a really, really good job at developing young talent, namely guys like a Desmond Bane, he can come in there and be a guy that they work on for a year or two before he even really plays minutes for them. And even though he did have an up and down freshman year, he is a guy who has great footwork for such a young player. He's a very talented ISO scorer. He can get his own shot. And he has all the physical tools in the world. He is 6'9", 215 pounds, already has a strong, mature build, and the frame to put on even more weight, and even maybe grow a little bit. And he has excellent length with a 7-foot wingspan. Like, he is a guy who has all the potential to be a really, really great two-way player, given his size and just overall natural ability at scoring the basketball. He just needs to get those bad habits out of his system and learn how to play winning basketball. And the best place to do that is a team like Memphis that is not going to ask him to come in and produce right away. They're going to be patient with him. They're going to need to be patient with him so he can learn really just how to play the game effectively in a winning type of way. But I like that Gigi Jackson landed with them. And also, Memphis is a team that needs a secondary scoring option that can score with the ball in his hands. And if Gigi Jackson kind of is molded and projects how he should, he can be that type of guy. And especially at the wing position where you already have a point guard, it's good to have a wing that can also take the pressure off of him, which he could maybe be someday. But it's also great value because this is a second round pick. He has no pressure on him to become the second, third best player on your team. He has no pressure at all. He can come in there and learn and grow at his own pace, and no one will look at him and try to speed up the process because he is not a first round pick. He is not a lottery pick. He is a second round pick, and I love this for Memphis and also for him. All right, now, the last pick I'm going to talk about today is Leonard Miller to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is yet another pick that is a second round pick, but a dude who has first round talent. A lot of people had Leonard Miller going at the end of the first round, and even some people thought he would go into the lottery. But instead, he slid all the way to the second round to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And for the Minnesota Timberwolves, when you don't have many first round picks in these next few years, given you traded them all to get Rudy Gobert, it is really important that you get high value picks in the second round. And when you can get a first round talent in the second round, that is huge. Leonard Miller is a very long, versatile wing that can also put the ball on the floor and that has so much physical upside, sitting at 6'10", 211. And to pair him up next to another very versatile wing in Jaden McDaniels, who is a first-team all-defensive team caliber defender, this could be huge. But also, one thing we need to understand is that Leonard Miller is not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. He has a lot of potential that needs to be tapped in and kind of produced and developed out of him. I mean, he could possibly be a jumbo-sized ball handler who can finish, distribute, and defend and knock down some shots from long distance. Of course, these are all kind of like theoretical skills, but he has the framework to turn into that. And imagining him, Jaden McDaniels, and Anthony Edwards is a very nice thought if you're a Minnesota Timberwolves fan or if you're in that front office. And very similar to the G.G. Jackson pick, there is no pressure on this kid. He can come in there and take his time with his development. There's no rushing him since he's not a first-round pick. There's not lofty expectations placed on him. But he can turn out to be a nice little gem for this team that, like I said before, when you don't have first-round picks, you have to find good players in the second round, undrafted, or finagle some type of trades. And getting a guy like him in the second round is huge. Now, that's my list for my 4 favorite NBA draft picks during the NBA draft. And, of course, these wasn't my only 4 favorites, but these are the ones that I felt like not a lot of other people would talk about. Like, some of my other favorites include Imani Bates to Cleveland, Cason Wallace to the Thunder, Derek Lively to the Mavericks, Anthony Black to the Magic, Cameron Whitmore to the Houston Rockets, giving the value that they got him at with picking him at number 20. So there was a ton of really good picks in this draft, but these were just my favorites, and also the ones I just wanted to spotlight a little bit more than others. So, of course, thank y'all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me in the comments who your favorite pick from the NBA draft was. And remember, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'm going to see y'all later. Peace.